Good morning. Let us pause briefly in our own moment as we ask God, who is known by many names and called by many voices, to be present with us as we celebrate today's milestone. Today we celebrate our students for the path they chose some time ago to come to Landmark and learn, not just of what is in books before them, but of what they are truly capable of. We celebrate the families of our students for the support, guidance, encouragement, and sacrifice that they have given our students on this journey to this moment. We celebrate the work of the many faculty and staff, educators, mentors, role models, who every day go beyond expectations to demand and draw out the best of their students, who sometimes just need a reminder of how good they can be. This is a proud and humble moment, one we ask is marked in our hearts and minds so we can remember what our potential is in the challenges and opportunities that lay ahead of us all. Today, we begin a new day and a new journey, and this is our celebration. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Sarah Glennon, and I teach in the English department here at Landmark, and I currently serve as chair of Landmark's Faculty Senate. On behalf of the Faculty Senate and all Landmark College faculty and staff, welcome. Welcome to everyone here today as we begin a new academic year, but in particular, welcome to our new students. We all look forward to working with you, getting to know you, and supporting you in making the most of the opportunities before you as Landmark students. I have been teaching at Landmark College for 20 years, and this fall seems to me to be a most exciting and promising time to be a part of this community as we welcome new leadership and the new ideas and perspectives this will bring. It is my great pleasure to be able to introduce to you today Landmark College's new president, Dr. Peter Eden. Peter Eden was chosen by the Board of Trustees after a nearly year-long national search. Dr. Eden grew up in Massachusetts in a family of many artists, but his academic interests led him in a different direction, to the study of microbiology. He earned his undergraduate degree at the University of Massachusetts Amherst, and he completed his PhD from the University of New Hampshire and postdoctoral training at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology in microbiology, molecular biology, and neurobiology. As a biologist, he has received grant funding from the National Institutes of Health and the National Science Foundation, and he has published extensively, including being the lead author of a 1991 article entitled Phylogenetic Analysis of Aquospirillum magnetotacticum using 16S ribosomal RNA-specific DNA. That sounds fascinating, doesn't it? I'm sure Dr. Eden would be able to provide copies of that article if anyone is interested. President Eden worked for 5 years in the biotechnology industry as a research fellow at College of the Atlantic in Maine and as science department chair at Marywood University in Pennsylvania. Most recently, Dr. Eden served as the Dean of Arts and Sciences and as professor of biotechnology at Endicott College in Beverly, Massachusetts. We are fortunate to have him and the extensive experience and expertise he brings to his new role as president of Landmark College. Please join me in welcoming him today.
Thank you, Sarah. I promise you I've published more recently than 1991, okay? Before I start, I think what I'd like to do is give you a brief update on the post-Hurricane Irene relief efforts. I mentioned at the welcome address that our students are organizing and mobilizing to help some of our faculty and staff most affected by the storm and the roadway damage. The college is also helping these faculty and staff in a variety of ways. Right now, I need to remind you perhaps, that there are donation containers set up across campus. You'll find some donation containers in the dining hall, and there's a table set up at the back of the tent if you wish to help us help those people most affected by the storm. Thank you. As most of you know, this is my first semester at Landmark. Due to this, I will always share a special bond with this class. It's so nice to be here and meet all of you and meet your parents. The stories I've heard over the past few days are simply amazing. They've only added to my zeal and my dedication to serve you and help lead Landmark as we provide what so many smart and deserving students deserve. Speaking of families, it's common practice to use the term family during these sorts of speeches. I don't have a problem following that recipe because I do believe that we are a family here. Since before my arrival on July 1st, I've been welcomed and accepted by this community, by the faculty and staff. I've had individuals visit me at Endicott College before I even started. This is the sort of family we have here. However, like all families, we can be a bit dysfunctional. Is that a bad thing? No, not at all. It's not, and I believe it may lead to creative problem solving, innovative thinking. But like all families, you're going to learn from us, and we're going to learn from you. Much like the rest of higher education in this difficult economy, the faculty and staff at Landmark have been through a lot of changes. They've soldiered through some tough decisions designed to strengthen the college for years to come. I've been amazed at their willingness to adapt and take on important new challenges. About 2 months ago, when I started, I may have said, in an effort to keep up spirits and momentum, only in the valley do things grow. But I know today, just 2 months later, we're not in a valley. We're already starting to climb the highest mountain. Students, please understand, you have, ready to serve and educate you, one of the best faculty and staff organizations I know. They are intelligent, talented, dedicated, and truly grounded in the mission. We are lucky to have this faculty and staff. Students, thank you. Students, during my time here, I promise to treat you with respect and fairness. I'm going to treat you like an adult, because you're all adults. This means, however, that we expect the same from you in terms of campus values and overall wellness. We will not tolerate anything but the highest level of respect and responsibility from you. We expect to see the highest level of civility and deportment, whether it's in the classroom, on the quad, in the dining hall, in the dorms. Students unable or unwilling to adhere to our campus values and vision of overall wellness will not make it here. But I want to remind you that college is a safe place. It's a very safe place. Not just in terms of the physical and emotional environment, but also a safe place to voice your opinions. We value a diversity of opinion. At college, you should raise your hand and you should ask questions. Do not be afraid. It's a safe environment. Nothing bad will happen. Trust me, once you get out of college and you're in your career and you're in a big important meeting, you might think twice about raising your hand to ask any question. I actually hope you don't, okay? Always ask the obvious question, all right? Always ask the obvious question. Here you can do it. College is a safe environment. You can ask anything you want. Nothing will happen to you. We want you to express yourselves, okay? I also want to see a highly engaged and entrepreneurial student body. We have so many opportunities for involvement, but we rely on students to give us input. We need to know what we need to do next. I know that in the past we've had some support for ski team groups and many other activities, and it worked well, but maybe not as well as we'd like. My Student Affairs Division is an agile, accommodating group, and they're willing to work with all of us to develop new programs and platforms which will enrich the overall student experience. Let us know what you need, and we will help you achieve that. I'm willing, from my office, to fund efforts related to student engagement, not just for recreation. Any effort which brings students together and allows them to immerse themselves in the issues affecting our globe, I will support. There is no shortage of issues to choose from, trust me. Remember, we are all connected on this planet. We want our students to become responsible citizens in an interdependent world. Again, I will fund any effort which brings students together to discuss and participate in the issues affecting our globe. At the welcome address, I mentioned some of our plans to generate and launch new programs such as gaming, computer science, life and health sciences, and many others. It's important for you all to note that the college has been doing research for years regarding the need to evolve and consider additional associate's degrees, and the college has already done some research as to the feasibility and benefit of development of baccalaureate degrees, four-year options, okay? This didn't start when I started on July 1. This college has already been reviewing these possibilities. We're now going to move full steam into these areas. It reminds me of a quote by Thoreau, building castles in the sky and putting foundations under them. This quote has been interpreted a number of ways, but I believe it means set your goals high and we will help engineer a system to support them. Okay? This is what we're doing at Landmark, but honestly, isn't that what Landmark has always done? Isn't that Landmark? I believe it is. Students, I want you to build castles in the sky. We will help you put foundations under them, trust me. Also, students, never miss a chance to make a memory. Don't wait for it to happen, be the catalyst. Don't miss that chance. Make it happen yourselves. You're all smart, you're all capable, be profoundly optimistic, you're in the right place. Welcome to Landmark. I will now introduce our Dean of Students, Michael Luciani. He also goes by the name of Craig Breismeister for the invocation. Michael stepped in for Craig. We hope to see Craig perhaps for the benediction. Couldn't make it at this time for the invocation. Michael is our Dean of Students. I'd like to welcome him to the podium.
Thank you. At this time, I would like all of our student leadership, the RAs, the orientation leaders, and all other returning students to please come forward and stand before the stage. It's my pleasure to introduce you to the student leadership of Landmark College. The group before me consists of students who have chosen to take on a position of service and leadership on your campus. Some of their faces may be familiar to you, while some you are seeing for the first time. However, after seeing them in action over the past 2 weeks, I know that they are all ready to have a positive effect on our community. Over the course of the past week, their work for the year began as they welcomed our new students during orientation. They've been answering questions, managing logistics of a busy schedule, and reassuring concerned students. As peers and mentors, they have looked students face to face, saying, "This is a good place, and these are good people. You can trust them." Over the course of the next year, they will be here, on the campus, in the residence halls, sponsoring programs, giving voice to what is important to students. Through their work, they will help transform buildings of brick and mortar, wood and glass, into a campus community of civility and citizenship. Their passion is our mission, to see Landmark as the greatest educational experience it can be for our students. To all of you here in front of me, thank you for stepping up to this opportunity to serve our campus and the students of Landmark College. And to all of our new students, know that not long ago, your student leaders were sitting right where you are, and then made the decision to step forward and share their talents, energy, and enthusiasm with this community. Today, we are asking you to do the same thing. Decide what you have to offer, what you would like to share, and how you can contribute to your community, and then step forward. Thank you. It's now my pleasure to introduce the president of our Student Government Association, P.J. Leahy.
Thank you, everyone. Jim Baucom is currently an associate professor at Landmark College in Putney, Vermont, where he teaches educational psychology and LD seminar. Jim is a founding member of Landmark College and served as academic dean until 1997, when he returned to the bliss of the classroom as a full-time teacher. Jim began his teaching career in 1976 at Landmark School in Beverly, Massachusetts, under the mentorship of Dr. Charles Drake, who founded both Landmark School and Landmark College. Like most young people, Jim planned on teaching until he found a real job. This year, he begins his 36th year of teaching students with learning differences, discovering along the way that there is no job that is more real, more challenging, or more rewarding than being in a classroom with students who appreciate both the hard work and the sheer joy of a lesson learned well. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me in welcoming Jim Baucom.
President Eden, a warm welcome to you on the occasion of your first convocation. Student body President Leahy, thank you for that kind introduction. Distinguished faculty and staff, thank you for being here today. And most esteemed students, thank you for believing in yourselves and having the wisdom to choose Landmark College. From small things, great things often emerge. On October 4th, 1985, Landmark College held its first convocation, just days after opening our doors as the first college in the world just for students with learning differences. That day would eventually be noted as far away as Washington, D.C., where Congress would pause in its proceedings to recognize the historic nature of Landmark's mission in its congressional records. That day was a day much like today, dappled in sunshine, enthusiasm, optimism, a healthy amount of uncertainty. Actually, on that day, there was more than a healthy amount of uncertainty. There had never been a college like this before. There was no blueprint, there was no roadmap to go by. But on that day, what we did have was 77 very eager students, about 28 or so dedicated faculty and staff, and numerous friends and dignitaries on hand, not just to witness history being made, but a dream being fulfilled. And there were many wonderful speakers that day. There was John Myers, who was the publisher of Time magazine. There was Jim Oliver, who was our founding president, whose leadership and dedication saw us through those early years. But there were three speakers whose words still capture the meaning of convocation today as much as they did 26 years ago. And these three speakers had much in common. For one thing, each one of them had a learning difference that almost derailed him along the way. And secondly, each one had to fight through the toxic effects of self-doubt to go on and eventually achieve great things. The first of those speakers was our first student convocation speaker. His name was Keith Promisel. He was 19 years old from Malibu, California. Keith told his fellow students that Landmark College holds up a mirror so that we can see ourselves. This mirror does not reveal a self that avoids hard work. It reveals a self capable of accomplishments through hard work. We lead the way into the future for other students with learning differences, and hopefully learning day by day to surmount our own difficulties. We may also provide a mirror in which others may see not only their struggles, but their immense potential as well. Keith went on to graduate from Whitman College and today is the president of the Promisel Group, a highly successful career advice and planning company in Massachusetts. Our second speaker that day was a fellow by the name of Peter Shumlin. He was 29 years old and he was the chairman of Putney's Board of Selectmen, who had been instrumental in helping to bring Landmark to Putney. Peter had dyslexia, and to this day readily admits that he never would have made it through a school of teachers that only focused on his flaws and not recognized his gifts and potential. His mirror was a teacher named Claire Oglesby right here in Putney, who helped him figure out ways to channel his gifts so that his difficulties wouldn't hold him back. And most of all, the greatest gift she ever gave him is that she never gave up on him. And it worked. Peter graduated from Wesleyan University in 1979 and then 6 years later found himself speaking at our convocation. That day he told students, "I commend you on your courage. You could not have chosen a better, more supportive environment than Landmark College to meet the challenges ahead. You know what you have to do, go do it." And we ought to listen to him all these years later. As you know, Mr. Shumlin is now the 81st governor of the great state of Vermont. And even back in 1985, he was already channeling a politician. He has his hands full right now, for sure. And even in 1985, he was already channeling a politician using the remarkable words of Robert Kennedy. "Some men see things as they are and ask why. I dream things that never were and ask why not." No one dreamed of things that were not and asked why not more than Charles Drake, the founder of this college. Dr. Drake had founded Landmark School in 1971 and had held on to the preposterous dream of opening up the first college in the world just for students who learn differently. He once said, "I've learned not to talk about all of my dreams at once because I frighten people." And Landmark College was a dream that was large enough and powerful enough and different enough to be frightened of. The night before that historic convocation in 1985, Dr. Drake drove up from Massachusetts with his son David and his 3-year-old grandson. They stopped at a Chinese restaurant along the way for dinner, after which Dr. Drake opened his fortune cookie. He brought it with him the next day to convocation and read it aloud. And you know what it said? "From small things, great things often emerge." But for Chad Drake, this was not just about opening a college somewhere. This was personal. He understood what it was like to struggle in school. Like many here today, he had struggled all throughout growing up. And to really understand what a miracle Landmark College is, you have to understand that Chad Drake didn't discover that he had dyslexia until he was age 35. He grew up in rural Georgia in the 1920s and 30s at a time when no one knew anything about learning differences. The only reason he learned to read at all is because he went to a small one-room schoolhouse where they pounded phonics until your head was ready to explode. He got through Berea College in Kentucky because one English teacher took a special interest in him, recognizing how brilliant he was, even though he couldn't spell his way out of a paper bag, and he was horribly, horribly disorganized. Dr. Drake went on to earn a master's degree in divinity from Union Theological Seminary and was all set to make his mark as a minister when he was awarded a Fulbright scholarship to study over in Denmark. While in Denmark, he began working at this little place called the Word Blind Institute, run by a woman named Edith Norrie. He began working with kids at this Word Blind Institute and discovered that they all had reading and writing and spelling problems. And he said, "Oh my God, this is the same problem that I had growing up. What is this?" He asked Edith Norrie about it. She said, "In Europe it's called word blindness. In your country it's called dyslexia." Chad Drake was 35 years old. This was the 1950s. I don't believe he had ever heard the word dyslexia. But it gave him a name for all the demons and difficulties that he had experienced in school, and it allowed him to look back at his life and make sense of what he had been through. And more importantly, it helped him understand exactly what he needed to do now. And he knew exactly what he needed to do now. He once told me that before the age of 35, he had never talked about learning differences. After the age of 35, he never talked about anything but learning differences. He came back to America, went to Harvard, and got his doctorate in education, somehow managed to purchase a mansion on the North Shore of Boston and open up Landmark School in 1971. He would open campuses in California, in Canada, and eventually Landmark College in 1985. But that experience of finding out who he was at the age of 35 changed his life inexorably. It was a single moment in time when self-understanding emerged and action began. It was a small moment, but from small things, great things often emerge. From that moment forward, Chad Drake would dedicate every single day of his life up until the time of his death in 2003, helping students with learning differences. And in 1985, his life and his work would alter the landscape of higher education in our country. But this is 2011. Should we really care about words that were spoken that day at Convocation by Chad Drake? What he said to students that day was, "My heart is filled and brimming on this great day. This is the fulfillment of the first part of a dream, but the best part is yet to come. I dream that Landmark College will be a place of quality and excellence because an educational institution of all institutions created in this nation must be one of quality and excellence. And that will only come about by dedication, concern, and hard work on the part of all of you, faculty, staff, and students, and most of all, students. It is you, the students, who will ultimately create this college because you will be a community of seekers and a community of learners." So should we care about words that were spoken at a historical event on this campus some 26 years ago? I believe we should. The past is our mirror, our great teacher. Kierkegaard once said that life is lived forward but understood backwards. We have to look backwards through the lens of history or memory, whether it's your own personal memories of all the struggles and successes you've had, or whether it's the history of this institution's own struggles and successes, so that we can understand who we are and who we're capable of becoming. The ability to look backwards in time is our greatest cognitive gift. It's called retrospection. It enables us to look back and make sense of what we've been through, and more importantly, what it is that we need to do right now. For every new student here today, one of the goals that we have for you is that you would come to understand the nature of your own learning profile, to understand why you struggled in school at times, but more importantly, to understand how to be successful in the future, to appreciate your gifts and why you've arrived at Landmark College here today. And I believe the same holds true for us as an institution. Looking backwards doesn't mean going backwards. It means understanding what has worked in the past and trying to improve on it. It means understanding the original vision that Chad Drake dreamed for Landmark College in 1985. A vision that should run like DNA through every department, every program, and every decision that's ever made at Landmark. And to be clear, Chad Drake's original dream for Landmark was always that it would become a 4-year college and a graduate program. New students here today, 4 years from now, ought to have the opportunity to graduate from Landmark with a bachelor's degree. And we need to help President Eden in whatever way we can to make sure that this becomes a reality. Which brings us to the future. Yogi Berra once said that making predictions is hard, especially about the future. Had to think about that one for a minute, didn't I? But as they say, the best way to predict the future is just to create it yourself. So for new students here today, as you go forward to create your future here at Landmark, there are just 2 suggestions that I want to make to you. Let's call them rules of the road. Or perhaps just things to think about along Perseverance Way. Perseverance Way. Thing to think about, number 1, along Perseverance Way. If you're far away from home and you're looking for adventure and you want to get a tattoo, there's a great place in Brattleboro. It's called Viking Tattoo. And I understand they do outstanding work there. Now, I'm not recommending that you get a tattoo. I'm just saying if you do. And if you do, there are a couple of things you need to think about. The first one is spelling. About 10 years ago, before my daughter went off to college, she decided to take a year off and do some organic farming in New Zealand. She also decided to backpack around New Zealand for about 3 weeks with her cousin Stephen, who was a physics major at Brown. They backpacked into the city of Auckland and both decided that they would get their first tattoos. So my daughter had a little simple graphic design inked onto the lower part of her back. Her cousin Stephen, the physics major, handed the tattoo artist a piece of paper with the word fascination written on it in great big Gothic letters, which he wanted etched across the top of his back. So as the tattoo artist set about his work, my daughter happened to look down at the piece of paper and said, "I'm pretty sure there's an S that goes before us, that C in the word fascination." Her cousin, Stephen, being a physics major, had completely misspelled the word fascination. And the tattoo artist didn't appear to have particular academic strength in either physics or spelling, so he wasn't sure. But he was going to go along with Stephen because it was Stephen's tattoo. But my daughter doesn't know anything about physics, but she's a very good speller. So she argued and eventually convinced them to correct it, luckily. 10 years later, I'm not sure Stephen is still enamored of that fascination tattoo, but at least it's spelled correctly. So if you do go to get your tattoo and you're not a good speller, make sure you bring your iPad or a dictionary or a friend who's a good speller, and for God's sakes, proofread. I'm pretty sure that will not be the last time you hear somebody telling you to proofread at Landmark College. I'm pretty sure about that. But the second thing I would like you to think about if you get that tattoo is what your tattoo could be of. If you're looking for recommendations, which I'm sure you are not, but if you were, I would probably recommend that you have the name of your Landmark advisor tattooed on you somewhere discreet. Your advisor at Landmark will be your mirror and will offer you the truest reflection of where you are as a student and what you need to work on. Over the years, the number one person that students have attributed their success to at Landmark, other than themselves, of course, is their advisor. I know that tattoos are permanent, but so is the link that you're likely to forge with your advisor. You will have many, many resources here at Landmark. Use them all, but your advisor will be a faithful, faithful resource. And as is written in the book of Sirach, a faithful friend is a sturdy shelter. He who finds one finds a treasure. Thing to think about number 2 along Perseverance Way. Dream big, but think small. Dream big, but think small. Like Chad Drake, dream dreams that are large enough to frighten people. People like your parents, your teachers, your counselors, and maybe even yourself. I take that back. Most of all, yourself. Most of all, yourself. Richard Wright, who knew something about discrimination and the powerful gravitational pull of low expectations, wrote in his autobiography, "The impulse to dream had been beaten out of me slowly through experience, and then it surged again, and I hungered for books, new ways of seeing and learning." Some of you may have had the impulse to dream slowly beaten out of you by experience. We've had students graduate from Landmark College who were told that they would never graduate through college by counselors and teachers in high school. You know, there's a technical word for when counselors and teachers tell students things like that. It's called bullshit. This past summer, I had lunch with a former Landmark student. Her name is Isabel. Isabel graduated from Landmark 3 years ago. Not only was she told that she would never graduate from college, she was told she would never learn to read, period. After Isabel graduated from Landmark, she went on to graduate from Lesley College in Cambridge, Massachusetts. And the reason we were having lunch, she wanted to share the news. She had just been accepted into graduate school at Johns Hopkins University. I asked her, what do you think about all those counselors and teachers who said you'd never graduate from college? And I would tell you what she said, except there may be small children here somewhere. Or Reverend Bryce Meister might show up. But Landmark College is a place where you can dare to dream again, where the impulse to dream is practically a graduation requirement. So dream big, but think small, and we'll help make your dreams realistic. Think small. Thinking small means thinking about what you need to do in the next week, in the next day, in the next hour in order to achieve your goals. Thinking small might be as small as writing your assignments down in your weekly planner. It might be as small as not being afraid to walk through the doors of the Drake Academic Support Center when you're feeling overloaded and need help. And it might be as small as just the smallest act of kindness that you offer to a fellow student. Dreaming is easy. Thinking small is hard. It takes discipline. But the best way to guarantee that the big things will take care of themselves is to do the small things. Remember, from small things, great things often emerge. So as we move forward into this coming year to create our future here at Landmark College, all of us as a community, we're probably going to have to work harder than we've ever worked before. But we'll work together and we won't be afraid to, like Chad Drake, to dream big. We'll help each other in small ways whenever we can. We'll work shoulder to shoulder and if need be on top of each other's shoulders, and perhaps even the shoulders of some of those who came before us, so that even our most frightening dreams can finally be fulfilled. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jim. I'm inspired. I'm ready to go. I'm sure you are too. Yes, you are. Convocation marks the time of formal beginnings when we come together as an entire academic community, faculty, staff, students, families, to celebrate our future together. We don these robes to remind us of our place in the course of history and tradition, our firm roots in the Middle Ages, when we decided that instead of educating our youth individually, it would be much better to gather people together who made a habit of thinking and learning, with people who wanted to become thinkers and learners, and so developed something called a college. Please notice that the word college and the word collection share a common root, hailing from the Latin by the way of Middle English. We are gathered. We are collected. We are a college. And I hope you enjoy, as I do, the gentle irony that institutions of higher education, of higher learning, where knowledge is forged and delivered, where the very future of our civilization is advanced, are nevertheless the only places on the planet where we still wear these ridiculous hats. There's a reason things go out of style. It is my duty and my proud responsibility this morning to close this convocation, to send you on your way towards your work ahead this semester and this year with a solemn charge and promise. And because my discipline is English, and my vocation that of interpreting and analyzing words and language, I want to do so by paying particular attention to the words I use, the symbols we choose, and the meanings they imply. At Landmark College today, we are inaugurating a new tradition. We have caused coins to be imprinted with the seal of our college. When you, the new students, leave here, we, the faculty and staff, will be standing at the back in long lines to congratulate you on your acceptance to Landmark and on your resolve to continue your education despite of, or perhaps because of, any obstacles you have met along your way. We will hand you each a coin as an earnest of the promise we see in you and the promise we have for you as you face the challenges of the year to come. I want to take a moment to explore the ideas behind the word earnest, a word which I chose with great deliberation. We know the word as an adjective, mostly describing someone who is serious in intent or who shows depth and sincerity of purpose. Oscar Wilde had a marvelous time playing with these meanings of the word in his play The Importance of Being Earnest, a play in which everyone is in earnest. No one believes he is actually named Ernest, even though two of the principal characters claim they are called Ernest, causing much confusion, and in the end, but I'll not spoil it for you, in case you haven't had a chance to see the play. But the word also has another meaning that is not often used nowadays. In this meaning, the word is no longer an adjective, but a noun, unearnest. Unearnest is a portion of something given or done in advance as a pledge of the remainder. It is anything that gives pledge, promise, assurance, or indication of what is to follow. Thus, it is extremely important to me that you see this coin as an earnest, because that is what we mean by it. It is right now only a portion of what is to come, and it is a solemn, earnest promise of the remainder. What that remainder is will be the scope and focus of our time together at Landmark College. It will be the choices you make, what classes you take, and what you take from those classes, what lessons we teach, and how we teach those lessons, the exploration of all those branches of knowledge that contribute to what it means to be human, the sciences, the arts, in short, the humanities. All of these you will, through hard work, through perseverance, Yes, but I also hope through the excitement of kindling intellectual passion and the fun of exploring new ideas in the company of those dedicated in the pursuit of knowledge, all of these, as I say, will become a part of who you are. These coins then are freighted with symbolic value. Our seal shows a road or a path that is neither broad nor straight, but rather one that winds through hills. We know your journey has not and will not be easy, nor would we wish it to be. Human beings are contrary creatures. We don't value that which falls in our laps as highly as we value that which we have striven to attain. We know the way ahead for you, even after Landmark College, will not be smooth, nor will it be entirely clear in the end where it will lead you. For that reason, we have placed a sun at the end of the path. Light and knowledge have often stood as metaphors for one another. Think, for instance, of the Enlightenment. We don't know where you are going, but we promise in the end, as you forge your path, you will be aided by knowledge. Symbols are tricky things, though, are they not? They exist within their own right. You will be holding a coin imprinted with the seal and motto of the college, but they mean beyond their existence. If you lose this coin, for instance, it will not mean that you are promised any less. Any more than, for if example, I lost my wedding band, I would be any less married. Thus, I return to the idea of earnest, because the coin in the end is only an earnest. It is a symbol of the promise of worth and value. You are worthy. Your education will increase your worth. You will leave here a valued member of our community to make valuable contributions to your society. You will be yourselves the rest of the earnest. In the end of your time here, you will have acquired the skills you need to make yourselves lifelong learners. You will have gained, through labor and perseverance, knowledge to see you on the way. It is our work together, through the semesters and the years to come, that will prove the earnest. You will be prepared to accomplish. Ready? Done. Prêt, accomplir. Go forth in earnest with our earnest in your future. Thank you.